Poor Dad and poor Mum lived in a small, broken house on the edge of the village for more than 40 years. The walls were cracked. The roof leaked when it rained. The wooden door had been repaired too many times to count. Inside the house was an old second-hand clock. It ticked loudly now, too loudly. It wasn't always like this. Years ago, the house was poor but full of life. Children ran barefoot across the cold floor. Metal plates clanged during meals. Laughter filled the rooms, even when food was little. Back then, silence did not belong there. Now, silence lived in every corner. Every morning, poor Dad woke up before sunrise. His back ached from years of hard labor lifting, digging, fixing things for others. He never complained. Complaining never fed a family. He washed his face with cold water, staring at wrinkles earned from sacrifice, not age. Poor Mum was already awake. She sat on her prayer mat, whispering prayers for children who no longer slept under her roof. Her hands were rough from washing clothes by hand, cooking over fire, and working until her body grew tired. They were poor, but they gave everything. They had 4 children. They fed their children first. They wore old clothes so their children could wear new ones. They skipped meals so their children would not sleep hungry. They believed love would bring their children back. But life changed. One by one, the children left, first for work, then for marriage, then for a better life. The phone calls became short, the visits became rare, and slowly the parents became forgotten. Poor Dad kept his children's old photos on the wall. He wiped the dust every week. "This one used to cry a lot," he said softly. Poor Mum smiled, even though she already knew. Every afternoon, poor Mum cooked more food than they needed. Poor Dad asked once, "Why so much?" She paused and said quietly, "What if someone comes?" No one came. Some evenings they waited until sunset before eating, listening for footsteps that never arrived. The hardest nights were when the power went out. The house felt heavier. Poor Dad sat by the window, watching other homes glow with light, hearing distant laughter. One night, he whispered, "Did we fail as parents?" Poor Mum held his hand tighter and said nothing. One winter, poor Dad fell sick. His breathing became heavy. Poor Mum stayed awake all night, pressing cold cloths to his forehead. She called their children. Some phones rang, some didn't answer. One said, "We will come soon." Soon never came. Poor Dad recovered, but something inside him changed. He spoke less. He smiled less, not from anger, but because hope was tired. One evening, poor Mum stared at 4 plates on the table. Slowly, she removed one, then another. Only 2 remained. That night, she cried quietly. Months later, one child visited. For one day, the house felt alive again. They ate together. They laughed. Before leaving, the child said, "I will visit more often." When the door closed, the silence returned. Poor Dad sat down and said, "They remember us only when it is easy." Years passed. Wrinkles deepened. Steps slowed. The clock kept ticking. One morning, poor Mum did not wake up. Poor Dad sat beside her, holding her cold hand, calling her name softly. The house stayed silent, just like it had been for years. At the funeral, all the children came. They cried. They said we should have come more. That night, poor Dad returned alone. He removed the photos from the wall and placed them in a drawer. He sat by the ticking clock and whispered, "This house waited for you, but you came too late."